What's going on? Legion Rudy here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Data Gaming XP on episode 148. So if you guys haven't had a chance to, you guys definitely need to check out the trailer for the Fell Hollow. You can find it on YouTube, and I think there was even a link in Discord. It looks absolutely amazing. I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but as I originally had thought, we are in good hands, and it looks absolutely amazing. Um, it's really tough. Maybe in the next episode, I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. Hopefully, that gives people a little bit more of a chance to sort of check it out. But holy cow, absolutely amazing, and really excited to actually share what I saw in the video. Just incredible. Um, Potentially, I mean, just you've got to check it out. It's really cool. Obviously, you guys already know. Let me think about what I can share about it. Obviously the dragon, which looks amazing, and that's really cool. And for anybody else who already knew, death is going to be playing a big part. Um, so much excitement for it, and I think we have a date now, December 15th, which is a little bit further into December than I would have rather liked, just because it seems like obviously a lot of the same has been going on for such a quite extended amount of time. But I guess this does leave the good thing that basically we're going to have a little bit more time to work on cooking, potentially being able to reach a million XP. I'm not 100% sure on that, but uh, we'll have to wait and see. I usually don't go and run and kill chickens. It's not been something I've done in quite a while. But I'm right here and obviously can get a little bit of meat and some eggs. So let's go ahead and do that. And I guess I'm going to switch to magic, as these guys really don't pose a threat. And I should be able to one-shot them in theory, and I can. So, um, absolutely incredible, though, that leak of what's to come. And honestly, I didn't know what to expect, right? You've got to hope for the best and hope that they're going to give us something good. And they did. So many cool things. I'm just going to say that the actual areas look really cool. And that's such a small sneak peek of what is to come. I'm sure there's going to be more things. So, obviously, I'm going to try to give you guys an opportunity to check it out. But in the next episode, I will be going into it a lot further. But just to give some sort of a time window in case you didn't know that it was there, I really don't want to take that away. I think they did a great job with the video. So, trying to be fair to those who potentially haven't had a chance to check it out yet. And I think it's definitely worth your time. So, definitely go check that out. But ultimately, so many cool things are coming, and I think it's just, I don't know, it's such a crazy world and a fun world to get lost in. So with what they've done, I think it's going to make it so much fun. I'm interested what the drops are going to be, that's for sure. um just crazy. So can't really go any more into it right now. I don't want to ruin that for anybody. But so December 15th is when we can expect it. I think they were kind of tentative on when they wanted to actually say a date based on how ready they were to release that to us. So I kind of like that way that they decided to do that, because if it's not going to be ready and you set a certain date, then you're not, people aren't going to be happy. But if you basically just say December, it gives you sort of a window of like, hey, we're not quite ready yet. So let's just go ahead and give ourselves the option to basically give an actual date within inside that month. So really cool, really excited, and we'll go way deeper into it in the next episode. But right now we're just gathering more resources for cooking, as it's just something that we have to do quite a bit now, as it's really the last skill other than the attack styles that we need to get XP in. And so it's just such an adventure, such a long time it's gonna take to get attack, magic and range to like a million XP, if at all, right? You've got to imagine, but I imagine I'm going to be killing a ridiculous amount of creatures in Valhalla, as well as future expansions. So I guess I could say that I'll have a million XP in every single skill, but it's just not going to be something that happens tomorrow or nothing like that. It's just going to take a lot of time. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying your adventures as well. I think that the world of RuneScape, I was going to say the game, but the world of RuneScape is so vast. And I know that we're not on Gillinor, which Gillinor has so many cool things about it. But I think they're going to start to bring to life a lot of the things that we're familiar with and even better things. Because you got to imagine when they made the, Gillinor with the graphics that they had at the time, it really sort of limited them to what they could actually bring to life. A lot of it had to sort of be imagination based to some degree, to some extent. And now I think a lot of that doesn't really have to be done that way. You can actually look and see what's going on and what they're creating for us. So that's also really exciting. Just the graphics look amazing though inside that trailer. So lots to be hyped about. It's so crazy because obviously it's been so long, since I've really been able to get an idea of what we're going to be looking at in Valhalla. So being able to see it got me so hyped. I guess I really needed that. Sort of in my mind, I created an image of what we were going to be expecting, but actually having seen what's coming, it's completely different than having to create your own sort of narrative in your head. And I think they're going to be doing a great job. So obviously, we've got loads of work to do. We've been killing chickens running around grabbing food right now. I won't probably be doing any more clean water as it's boring, right? Obviously, it doesn't take much effort and it's very basic, but at the same time, it's like I obviously need to work on my combat skills, and I've talked about that a little bit. If I'm running around essentially not doing anything except grabbing things off the ground, like or getting clean water, that's not helping me. That's actually hurting me in the long run. I'm not going to be benefiting from doing that. It's going to actually set me back quite a bit. Obviously, I'm going to be getting cooking XP, but I could be getting cooking XP and attack XP or ranged or magic or whatever. But so much more needs to be done. And I know I talked a little bit about how as high level creatures come inside the game, we're going to be getting more XP in certain skills, right? So it will be faster in one regard. Basically, yes, more XP, but is it faster? Because these creatures and opponents, enemies, whatever you want to call it, they're all going to get significantly harder, but we're going to get significantly more powerful. But some of these things are going to have abilities, sort of like bleed effects and poison. So I'm not sure how some of those things are going to look. Obviously, poison right now is something that you can pretty much easily deal with unless you're walking inside water that's poisonous. I think they added something new to that, so you can't just walk through it, which completely makes sense. I mean, why would we be able to just walk into poison? Even though we've got potion active, the water itself is still toxic. So I like that, how they changed that. That makes a lot of sense. Um, but each new creature and opponent basically will have something new to look at and say, that's a threat to my existence, my survival. And it makes sense in a survival game. So obviously, we've got to wait till December 15th, which at this point, it's really still seemed like an eternity. But we're going to blink and it's going to be here. So I don't think that it's going to be that big of a wait, even though it sort of feels like it. So all these potatoes just sort of randomly scattered. Interesting. Let's see. Trying to grab these potatoes, but they're giving me a little bit of a trouble. Weird. So, is it potentially time to move some of my lodestones in these beginner areas? I'm not sure. I mean, I think I could. I think it would benefit me quite a bit, actually. But this still allows me to have access to the entire world that we're currently spending all of our time in. Because at one point, it will really make sense to sort of move certain lodestones, but then there are going to be things you're going to need potentially from obviously the beginner areas of the game, and this would allow me to have the most quickest access. But it's just quite crazy, really. For me, having played RuneScape for over, I guess what, like over 18 years, I don't want to say 20, even though I felt like it was 20, but somewhere in that range, it's like I spent so much time in a game, and I actually had to take a break from it. I played that much. It was beginning to become a problem. So, I mean, I never quite thought they would do something like this in a RuneScape Dragonwilds game, right? And when I heard about it, I was completely shocked. It was absolutely just amazing that they had done this. So, and then it sort of just randomly dropped. So that was really exciting too. And just It's so crazy because I thought my RuneScape days were behind me. Large part due to the fact that the other RuneScape basically required you to invest just countless hours of your life. I easily, if you could sort of time how much like of my life I actually put in that game, it would easily be some insane amount, like 2 years of actually sitting in front of a computer screen. So that's a little bit troublesome. You've got to imagine there's so many things in life you actually want to do and your progression of your own story. So it was difficult for me because if I sat in front of a screen my whole life, how was I going to sort of develop in other ways? So that's why I ultimately thought RuneScape was behind me. But now they come out with a survival game where you can still do things in life and still enjoy the wonderful things about RuneScape. So it's just so amazing that they actually came out with this game and then that they've done such a good job. And they've got so many years of basically player feedback from the other one on Gillenor. But you can still make mistakes even with feedback. I mean, I think the old RuneScape was constantly making mistakes, like constantly. So many times we were disappointed with an update or felt they could have done something different. And honestly, for the longest time, I don't really think they were listening to us actually in the other RuneScape. I think things got really weird at different times. They went through different like moderators. So lots of different things were happening. But in this one, it seems like we're finally being heard in such a way that's very unique and different. And I actually really appreciate that because after all, we are the thing that keeps these games going. We are the consumer of the gaming world. So if we don't like something, within reason, I feel like it's really important to listen to your player base because basically they are the thing that's going to keep you going. Basically, you look at World of Warcraft, they've been around, what's it, 20 years now? And that's a really long time. And so whatever they did, the magic that they sort of captured, I imagine that there was quite a bit of listening to players and what they liked and what they wanted to see in a game. And if you don't listen to your players, basically you're just like, I made this and I want this and I want that. And it's a lot like movies, right? I think it's basically like the creator wants to do his own spin, but you can still do your own spin and still be within the realm of basically sticking true to certain aspects. And I think it's like it's really tough, right? But you want to make your own thing, but at the same time, the people who are going to want to go watch this, they're definitely looking for something that's going to tie them on potentially a personal level to this story. Um, I guess we could get into this a little bit. It's not really a problem. Let's see. Star Wars. I'm actually a really big fan of Star Wars. I'm sort of Star Warsed out lately, except obviously one of my new favorites is The Mandalorian. And interestingly enough, I felt like The Mandalorian. I'm not going to give any spoilers for those of you who haven't watched it, but basically there's a particular couple episodes which are absolutely phenomenal. And I just felt like the way they made that, if they made the sequels 7, 8, 9 like that, people would have been a lot more happy. I think they were trying to get away from what made it what it was so it could sort of stand on its own. But that's not how it works for that particular thing. Obviously, some of the scenes were really cool. It made people appreciate 1, 2, and 3 a lot more. I could say that. You might have had your problems with 1, 2, and 3. But then again, uh, when you look at number 7, 8, 9, you're like, what is actually happening right now? Um, I think that they could have been went about it in so many different ways, and just the ways that they did, in fact, go about it really actually sort of ruined it for me. But then here comes the Mandalorian, and they just do basically what everyone sort of wanted to see on screen, all these really epic and exciting things. And I think that what made Star Wars so special was so many different things that were done right. Obviously, was it 4, 5, 6? They really didn't use a lot of CGI. Everything was sort of done with like models, and I mean like too much CGI is a bad thing. I think that's actually what happened to a lot of video games. People think, "Oh, I want to be able to do all these things," and before you know it, you've got your entire keyboard loaded up with different bindings, and it's at the point where it's like this is actually stressful. like like this is a lot. So it goes away from being like this game's challenging to why is it challenging? I want the game to be challenging because it's actually sort of difficult. I've got to use my brain and I've got to learn the fight. I don't want it to be difficult because I've got so many keys on my board that I've got to use that it's basically like trying to master something that's absolutely incredible. Like, I think boss mechanics can actually be one of the great driving reasons why a boss fight can be great and memorable. Um, some of the things that I actually recall about World of Warcraft was there was like a pirate fight, and I can't quite remember the name of the boss, but you go on these pirate ships and you're underground, and that was so memorable. It was so exciting and fun, and like I'll never forget those journeys and adventures. They were so amazing, so much fun, and I'm grateful for that. I mean, even as I got to a high level player, I went back and I checked those fights out. Obviously, they were a lot easier, but you could also change them to hard mode and things like that. And then what was it called? The brigades or the barricades? There was another place you could go. That was really exciting. Those were fun. Another thing was this game has recaptured that sort of feeling of you were scared in World of Warcraft. You sort of went into new areas you didn't know what to expect. I remember, I think it was probably the second or third expansion, probably the third. You're running inside this like mountain area, and there's all these creatures with like gems and rocks as their body, and as you kill them, they explode, and you're getting all sorts of like different things. And the loot is big. Like, obviously, you can see all my chests have a bunch of the same item, but if you can imagine if the drops were more like random, I would have just an insane amount of different weird things. Because I'm very large on loot base. I think it's so exciting to basically kill something and you have a rare chance of getting this, or potentially you can get that. And then you sort of just got all this random stuff in a bank. And I think that's also what made RuneScape really fun as a new player back in the day. Was you don't, I mean, obviously they had access to like Rune Wiki and Rune HQ. And if you're a new player, you don't even really like, I mean, I guess it depends on who you talk to, right? Because I was pretty, I was pretty familiar with a computer from a pretty young age, but basically, you start to learn all these different ways you can improve the way you play the game with information, whether it's through just the way you execute things. But what starts to happen is like you learn about something like Rune HQ, right? And it changes everything. You've got quest guides in case something's a little bit difficult, because I'm not gonna lie, at times the help that you got was not gonna help you finish a quest. It was absolutely ridiculous. And some so unless you basically just were like so into the fact of looking for like 4 hours for potentially something that should have been so easy. But obviously, there's actually a journey in that as well. If you want to be the type of player who basically just has to look all around for something, that's not a bad thing. It's actually can be quite fun if that's your thing. It's just like time wise, I already spent so much time on a game. I didn't really want to be looking for some weird little thing that's a riddle, so it could actually be quite frustrating at times. But if I could do it by myself, I actually would, but I'd say most of the time, some of those quests were actually really difficult to do on your own. Um, and there's really nothing wrong with that as well. I think it kind of benefits you and it might add to the experience overall, like I said. But I spent so much time on the game, I really wasn't trying to spend an extra like 55 to 120 hours to make sure I got the quest done without having to look for help. But anyway, um, it's quite interesting too, because if no one else had done the quest, you sort of had to wait for someone to make a guide. But yeah, so there's Rune Wiki. I actually can remember when I was younger, I used to print out what monsters dropped, and I would actually be on long car rides. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before. And basically, I would look at what every single monster dropped, and then basically what that was worth, just by remembering what different things sold for, and how to get different things, and how, like when I got home from that long car ride, what I was gonna go spend hours and hours killing. So obviously, you look through the book so many times, and with the limited amount of creatures that there were, it's basically just like you're just doing it for fun, potentially seeing if you didn't miss something that could actually be beneficial if you went and killed for an extended period of time. Because obviously, I killed, I think it was 4,000 or 4,500 in it, Rorarius, which actually got me a significant amount of wealth. It just goes to show you, if you're going to push forward and you're going to do it big, do it all the way big. Because ultimately you're going to be left feeling like, you know what, that was a little bit time consuming, but wow, look at all the money I got. You just got to stick to it. So, um, well, we've been talking about lots of different stuff. We worked on magic for a little bit. We got a lot of cooking resources. Let's see how much we actually got. So we actually got quite a bit. 37 raw chicken. That's pretty decent. 37 eggs. Let's see. So we got 37 goblin packs while we were out there. That's absolutely wild. You see, if you just sort of stick to whatever you're doing, you're going to have all these big results. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, don't focus so much on what you're doing and just focus on results. And I think it's actually going to be quite crazy what you can accomplish. So, anyway, guys, let's go ahead and go over an XP update. 336,000 attack. Range is 73,000. Woodcutting 1,004,000. Construction 2,015,000. Rune crafting 1,001,000, magic 129,000 XP, mining 4,259,000, artisan 4,132,000, and cooking 558,628. So we've got loads more work to do. Yes, so we've got loads more work to do, and we're going to keep doing it. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your adventures in RuneScape Dragonwilds. You guys should go check out the Fell Hollow sneak peek. I think it's amazing. I think it's on the Discord. It's also on YouTube. Just absolutely amazing, super exciting. So check that out. And again, thanks for watching our content. And until next time, Legion Nuda out.